hit the button, or the two buttons, which makes me crouch every time.
Superhero.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Kartek. How you doing?
Morning disturbed. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. It was a late night doing that really quick bathing contract that I seem to be helping on.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much for that. It was, yes, very, very helpful indeed.
My pleasure. It will be a delight to see you harvesting sugar beet next time.
Yes, you've changed your mind, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I don't need you for the soybeans. I don't think, and harvesting those sugar beets is going to be a much bigger job. So
Yes, I think you might be right there, mate.
we'll probably do that as another kind of weird video out of the sync sequence, maybe, because I think it's rather than you having to spend an entire day helping me harvest sugar beet and losing a day on your farm. Maybe we'll do it the same way. We'll just grab a convenient point and slow down time.
Yes, that sounds like a very good idea. Yep. Not so
Awesome.
as not
Well,
to set ourselves behind.
yeah, I have a shed load of stuff to do, so I'm going to vanish to my farm and get to work.
Okay,
Have
mate, you
fun.
crack on. Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the competitive multiplayer on the Western Wilds. Hopefully those trees will settle down in a minute. So what are we on with today? Well, we have our little bit of canola to harvest, so that isn't going to take us long at all. Firstly though, we need to get some more fertiliser because the larger field of canola is only 50% done, so we need to get that completed. So I'm going to run up here, drive up here should I say, get some fertiliser, and I'll be back with you very shortly. Right then, fertilising underway. Just look at all those bales down there. We will be leasing an auto stacker for that, and then we'll have to hoik them into the sell point down at the railway, so no problem really. But yeah, there's a fair old amount of them there. Not that I am complaining, because the price of silage is awesome. So yeah, can't grumble. But we need to get this fertilising done first, get the canola all harvested, and then yeah, we can get some bales sold. Right then, fertilising's all done, so let's get this canola field harvested. I've just seen Disturbed heading down. There he is, coming back. Look, he's dropped his auger off. I'm not sure if he's bought a new tractor, you know, because there was a Steyr. Let's just take a look. Come on, keep going. There we go. There was a Steyr in the store. It didn't let me view it. Like, I don't know if that's because Disturbed's bought it or what. I'm really not sure. We'll have to find out in a little while. But I think what we'll do is we'll do a headland, maybe a couple down the other end, and then we will set a worker off and we'll cart when required. So enough chatting, let's get on and get this done. Right, the worker can carry on with that. We will leg it to the tractor. It's very disorientating being in this third person. That's better. Right, we'll get the combine unloaded and then we'll head to the store, lease the bale collector, loading wagon, auto stacker thing, and get some bales sold. Okay, so loading has commenced, and I don't actually think that Disturb did buy the tractor. I think there's a bit of a glitch with the store for whatever reason today. I'm not sure why, but it just doesn't seem to be displaying correctly. Come on. Oh, I missed it. I don't really want to slow down because I'm afraid we won't get the momentum back up again. So, there we go. So yeah, I don't know what the issue is with the store, but whatever. Come on. think this holds 24, which is fine by me. I don't know actually how many we got. You can never tell in multiplayer, which is a bit of a pain, but never mind. So let's get this loaded up, and I'll catch you when we sell the first load. Shall we see if we can put his auger on the rock? Do we start something like that or not? I don't know. We'll leave it for now, and we'll see how he looks like he's doing for time later. I don't want to scupper his chances too much, but here we are at the bale sell point. So if we just unload the bales there, and then we can magically manhandle them onto the bed of the train, and then we'll get them all sold and hopefully make a fair old bit of money. There we go. Lower that down. Right. Engine off. This is the lease one. Right. So it is 24 per bale, per load. 1,252 pound a bale. That doesn't sound. 890 kilograms. Oh, okay. Yeah. No. What? That's not right, surely. Silage. Have they fermented? Oh, it's only. Oh, that's really annoying. Schoolboy error there. I thought they would have fermented by now. Oh, right. Well, we'll wait till next time. I better let Disturb know there's a stack of bales in the way.
Hello, Mr. Kartek. How are you?
I've messed up. Just so you're aware, there is a stack of 22 bales ish at the sell point that are actually still grass and not silage. So yeah, just to let you know not to crash into them if you don't mind.
You should have asked. I could have told you they were still grass.
Oh,
I might
now
have
she
had a look on the way
says.
past.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I was curious as to whether they would have fermented or not. So I happened to be driving past, and I thought, that farmer won't mind if I take a shortcut through his field because he's a nice guy. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, they're still grass. Have
Yeah,
you been into the store today?
I have.
Was it glitching for you?
No, it was fine.
Okay, it's really weird for me. Can't actually see the things I want to buy, and it's putting me in the roof. So, not quite sure why that is.
That's just the game's way of telling you not to buy it.
Yeah, quite possibly.
You clearly don't need it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, well, yeah, very true.
You obviously just want it and don't need it, and No, I did spot there is a rather nice tractor sat in there on sale.
Yes, and I thought you'd bought it because it wouldn't let me view it, and I didn't know if it was a weird
No, no
glitch with
God,
the.
no. I'm 55 grand in debt, and I've got about 5 grand at the moment.
Oh, not good. Nice
No.
auger though.
Yeah, at least.
Least.
Buy it. Least.
Oh.
I do plan to buy it because it works quite well because it picks up off the floor, which is quite nice.
Oh, that is handy. Yes.
Which is, yeah, I don't know if I'll need it, but it's nice to have an auger that can do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm busy ploughing in my third field.
Oh, very good.
Which I fear is going to take quite a while.
Oh, like that, is it? Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Let me just look on the map.
It's that missing 2/3 of the plot of land that I mentioned.
Yeah, that's going to take a fair old while.
Yeah.
How's the harvest going?
It's going well. I've got first trailer full in the silo,
Excellent.
which is pretty nice, and I'm guessing I might get another 5,000 liters or so on top of that. So
Super.
yeah, I'm hoping that this will fix my being massively in debt and having no money problems.
You'd hope so. Yeah.
Because this tractor is not very happy with this plough today.
Oh. I was
So it
just
keeps
when I was
getting
looking at
stuck.
the Steyr. Sorry,
Mm,
when I was looking at the Steyr, I was checking on the horsepower, and I think it was only 100 and something.
yeah,
It's
none of
like
those old tractors from Giants are particularly big, are they?
no,
There is the Case and the Alice Chalmers that we added. The Alice Chalmers is 180, I think, but the Case goes to about 220
bit of a decent
for
upgrade then.
not a lot of money. It's a bit slower. I think it's only 18 miles an hour.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
my combine is full.
Oh yes.
And it doesn't have a front. Neither of them have a front linkage, which is kind of what I think I'm after next.
Yeah, it would be a nice upgrade, wouldn't it? That.
Yeah. I really want something more modern, basically, so that I don't have to battle with gearboxes and stuff.
Yeah, something with an automatic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like something that's, about basically something a bit like that Massey 8S, something that's 200, 225 horsepower, CVT transmission, front 3-point.
You don't want a lot then.
No, no, I'm not after a lot. And if I could get that in the sale as well, so it's about half price,
Yeah.
which is about what that Massey is.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I can justify that at the moment. I really want to get rid of this lease tractor.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, but then at the end of the day, it's not costing the earth, is it? And it
No,
is.
and
It's more productive having
mm,
a worker doing something with another tractor. So
yeah, and for me, I've left the leased one on the trailer so that I can plough while the worker harvests, which is not not the most exciting way to for people watching because I'm not showing any of the harvesting. Pretty much, I did one headland or two headlands, and just left a worker to it then because I got many jobs to do.
yes,
Um, as long as people love watching cheaty plows, we're good.
they'll be in trouble if they don't.
Yeah, and then I need to replant this field straight away, and ideally plant the one that I'm making. So it'll be a busy day.
Busy, busy boy.
Yeah, it's probably a good job we have it fixed on ×5, so we don't just record for 4 hours for one game day.
Yeah, that would be some feature-length episode. That would.
It would. I don't. Again, I'm trying to make it so it can be shorter. So I've done a bunch of stuff that should have been jump cut and time lapsed. Um, just so that when we end up randomly starting to chat, I can leave that in because that's the benefit of the multiplayer bit rather than me just talking to myself.
Yep. No, sounds like a fair plan.
Um, Although it feels like it's been a fairly quiet week for Farm Sim.
Yeah, I've and mods as well. It's not. There's nothing been really
I think the only
earth-shattering.
the really good one for me is the Merlot coming back.
The turbo farmer, is it?
The turbo farmer. That is, and it's a nice little telehandler. And I don't know if you used it in 19. It has the advantage that it's got a 3-point on the back.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
So I'm really tempted to try and do at some point in the future a no tractor farm
Oh, with the
where
Merlot.
where it just has the turbo farmer because you can do everything with that.
Yeah.
And kind of like I did the one tractor series on FS19. And kind of the same thing, but with no tractors.
Yeah, I've
At
seen
least
the
for a
old
little
no
while.
tractor challenges. Not one. I have seen them on YouTube. I haven't watched them, should I say?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It depends how. Some people do them. You use the 82 Studios pickup trucks with a trailed lifter, and you've got 400 horsepower, and you can do 80 miles an hour with almost everything.
Yeah, yeah, fast farming.
which is not quite what I have in mind with it. I've not really looked, but I assume the concept of that turbo farmer is you can use it to do everything on your farm.
Yeah,
It feels like it might be fun to have a go at it.
yeah, no, why not?
I really enjoyed when I was reminiscing through my old videos at the start of the week. I really enjoyed the one tractor one as well. It was frustrating sometimes playing like a console player and not having
Yeah,
things like course play.
yeah,
But the one tractor thing was really quite good fun.
yeah.
And I might, if I don't do the no tractor, I might do the one tractor again, but not on the scale that I did, because doing it on a 4x map with one tractor is quite an interesting challenge.
That's proper hardcore, that is.
Yeah, my one tractor was a John Deere 8RT that had a front loader,
Oh, okay.
so it could handle the big field work and it could do yard work.
Yeah.
And actually, I found it really weirdly, it was an awesome front loader tractor because it was on dual tracks. It
Oh,
had no turning circle.
yeah.
So it was one of the best front loader tractors I have ever used in Farm Sim because it was so maneuverable.
Yeah, that is actually. Yeah, this sounds pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, and I don't think it's in FS22 yet because I think it was custom modding that made it, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a really interesting option for doing stuff. The only thing that I found that's close now, and it's not at all close in scale or horsepower, is the Lindner Lintrack, which I think is a base game
Oh,
tractor,
yeah.
because that has four-wheel steer. I was messing around with one of those yesterday, doing a ploughing contract, but it has four-wheel steering and it has a front loader attachment, which again makes it quite tempting for yard work. It's 140 horsepower, which is not bad.
Sorry, the train was going past.
It was 140 horsepower, which makes it quite a nice option. Are you back down at the store again, or down at the cell point again?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the train to. It's a very long train. Hold on. Oh dear, I've just tabbed back to my combine.
What have you done?
Nothing. It's the train. It's so loud.
Ah,
I couldn't hear a word you were saying, apart from
oh well,
custom modding and 100 and something horsepower.
that's no bad. I was talking about the Lindner Lintrack,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which is, apart from the fact that it's not a 350 odd horsepower twin track tractor, is the closest that I think I found at the moment because it's four-wheel steer
Oh,
in
okay,
terms of maneuverability. I was using one on a ploughing contract yesterday, and it's quite a nice little tractor.
They do look quite cool, to be fair. I haven't used them much yet, or at all.
No,
In
I
fact,
think it would be a nice little yard tractor on somewhere. If I had need for another tractor on anything that I'm doing of that size.
yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like on Greenlands, I've got two small tractors, including the little Massey we were talking about before, and I very rarely use either of them now. One has become my field scanning tractor, and the other one just sits there because the front loader is not big enough to reach into anything, and I have a telehandler, and it's too small to run a fertilizer spreader.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you get some, and it's like very specific jobs, I suppose, aren't they? That they can and can't do.
It's some of that is the scale of farming that I'm doing. If you were running a small farm, they'd probably be great.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
But when you want to, I guess heading they'll be useful for when they get to making hay, and maybe windrowing, but that's about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's sorry, just concentrating. There we go. Lovely. Yeah, there's on my little fend. It's spot on for fertilising and spraying, but anything much heavier than that, and it's there's 0 point in using it. So. Yeah.
There's probably I think a lot of people, a lot of the mega realism people complain when you see a farm sim farm that only has big tractors,
Yeah.
or every tractor is over 200 horsepower. But with the way farm sim works, it's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
Um, unless if you've not got a telehandler, I guess a smaller tractor is okay. But the ones I've got on Greenlands, I found because they're small, they're too small to reach into most things with the telehandler.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Um, and I think the ideal size tractor for farm sim is like the Fendt 700s. I think they're a
Yes.
really nice size tractor for farm sim. You've got a couple hundred horsepower, good size to put a front loader on, not too big to do yard work.
Yeah, they are. I do like a vent as well.
Yeah,
As you
yeah,
know.
I'm quite. Yeah, I used to use quite a lot of them on 19, but I haven't used many on 22. I'm kind of partial to a Fendt twin track.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've not used many of them in 22, if any, but I really do like a twin track tractor.
Yeah.
Um,
The power is just awesome, isn't it?
yeah, power and maneuverability is I love. They're awful for some things, but I really enjoy using much more than a quad track even.
Yeah, I like the fact that they just turn on a dime, don't
Yeah,
they, as well?
yeah. I think if my Calmston farm ever grows big enough, I would like to have something like that. I just downloaded a Challenger two
Oh,
track.
yeah.
I think it was off of Facebook. I think it's a convert from FS19, and yeah, I'd be really tempted to have that on there, or a quad track, because I've never really used a big quad track much.
No, I haven't. I say the only ones I've used really are the 9RX, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we were
John
saying
Deere
the other
one.
week.
Yeah,
Um, but yesterday I think I used another one on a cultivating contract.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, and they're not that wide, and as you know, because they articulate so well, you could probably
Mm.
get them down the Calmsden lanes.
I think the same with a quad track.
Yes, no, definitely, yeah,
And with the scale of the farming, it's probably the right size tractor for some of the big fields.
yeah, absolutely.
And I stopped watching. I've missed a few episodes, but watching I can't remember the name of it. The tractor series that was running in the UK on TV recently.
Oh, yeah, I can't think what it's called now.
They
Yeah.
they were visiting a farmer. I think it was a Norfolk-based farmer, and he had a 9RX, and it seemed to fit what he was doing perfectly. Particularly if you account for the fact that in the real world you need a lot more horsepower than you need in farm sim for most things.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
actual
uh,
physics. Yeah.
yeah, I know. I talk about it a lot. The local farmer was out on Monday morning. He was too far away for me to grab a picture. With his Fendt two track, and he was cultivating, and I'm sure it was no more than a 4 or 5 meter cultivator he was pulling with what must be a 300 plus horsepower tractor.
Isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
What's actually needed for certain types of soil. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Whereas we're doing it with a 200 horsepower little tiny old case
yeah,
on here.
and a
You
very
know,
duty plough.
yeah. And I guess some of the kit that's that kind of size actually does need that much horsepower. Now, if you look at some of the modded cultivators that are 5 meters, they do say you need a 500 horsepower tractor. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a certain element, isn't there? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I've almost finished harvesting, and it's not
wowzers,
lunchtime even.
time for a
I
lunch
have,
break.
yeah, I've got 2 trailers full of soybeans to go and sell.
Well, I shall let you crack on then, sir.
Okay, I will chat to you again in a bit.
Catch you in a minute, mate. Well, as Mr. Disturb didn't feel the need to communicate with me that the silage wasn't actually silage yet, you'll have seen we did move his auger, so I'm sure at some point in the episode he will spot that, but we can deny all knowledge of it. So I think what I'm going to do is pick up some more of these bales and try and clear the end nearest to our field. Reason being is I need to get the plough out then, and we are going to plough half this field up, and for now, then we are going to get a crop in that hopefully this episode, maybe, don't know. I am not going to put anything in that little strip down there. You'll have seen we got 40k off that little bit, so I don't know. See, I'm torn now. Do I put something in there or not? Yeah, so the plan is get these bales shifted, start ploughing up some of the field, and then hopefully at some point we can sell some silage bales, and they'll actually be silage bales. Just so you know, these little cases can drive over the bales.
Thank you for that. I'm very glad you tested it.
That's me looking at the other screen and not looking where I'm going.
And now you understand why I crash so much.
Yes, okay, yeah, I'll let you have that one, yeah. So, he's just on the way down to the store now. So, I think it's let's just wait and listen, because it's gonna. I think the penny's gonna drop reasonably quickly, shall we say?
Did you get bored by any chance?
There we go. I don't know. Sorry, why?
My auger seems to have moved.
Did it?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's to do with the glitch in the workshop.
I don't know. It's very tempting to plough through this pile of bales that's in front of me at the moment.
I drove past it and then had the little mishap with the silage, and then when you said that you'd seen it wasn't silage and hadn't told me, I thought, I'm just going to move it. I do apologise.
Very, very mature of you, sir.
Power tools, super strength.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Remember?
Yes, it does. It worked the other day.
No, I think it's lumberjack, and I'm not sure if we've still got that installed.
Double tap Alt.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to try.
If not, I'll come over and help you.
I've got it. Thank you for your assistance, sir.
Pleasure. So I've just stuck a worker on the seed drill, because I don't want to leave the field empty really. So we're putting in a crop of oats into the field. Yes, it's slightly eating away at a little bit of the canola, but it's no big problem. Oh, sorry, we're in the way. So we'll jump into our tractor. I just want to make sure that it doesn't actually go into the field of canola. And then we can grab the plough and we'll start marking out the next field. Why do you hate farm sim?
Can't tip into the auger that I've released because I can't tip on the floor because I don't own that plot of land.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to lease a different one.
Do you want to borrow mine?
I'm not sure how that'll work, whether it'll sell it to you or to me, so...
Okay.
That's
annoying.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and lease another one.
Get the one I've got, because we know that works then.
Which one's yours?
It is the... one moment, caller. It is the AGI Batco BCX3 conveyor.
That's one of the expensive ones, though, isn't it?
Yeah, might well be, to be fair. Just having a look in the sale, see if anything's appeared. No. No. That's annoying. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, that is a real pest. I did think it might have been something along those lines, or that you'd thrown your laptop because of the auger. So I wasn't sure.
No, no. It was really amusingly timed because it was as you said. Let me just look in the store, and I thought it was the problem with what you mentioned before about the shop causing things to crash
Oh.
or causing your shop looking weird. And I thought you'd broken the game, but it was just really well timed. It was actually my internet connection dying.
Oh. Did you hear what I said? Which one it was?
The backhoe.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tethered to my mobile now, so hopefully that has enough bandwidth to not make things stupid happen, like accidentally driving through a giant pile of bales.
I see what you've done there. You've laid the ground bait for that to happen now, haven't you?
If it accidentally happens, I cannot be held accountable for that now because it could entirely be down to the fact that I am having to use my phone for an internet connection.
Yes. I wonder why it keeps dropping. Who's your provider?
Virgin Media.
Oh, I saw something one of my mates was saying about they've had outages over the past few days. I don't know if that's anything to do with it.
It seems to be that every so often it will just randomly have a hissy fit and reset itself.
Okay.
And quite often it is a really inconvenient time.
Like when you're trying to record.
Yeah, it's the second time it's happened when we've been doing. It also helps if you switch recording on. It's the second time it's happened whilst we've been recording that my internet connection has died. And it's happened a few times. It happens during work meetings. Is also quite annoying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It did. I had mine dropped yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, why can I not hear anybody anymore?" Always happens in the middle of a meeting. Why can I not set a waypoint?
Is that what that is?
Ah, there we
I
go.
think you setting a waypoint. It's weird that it shows it for me.
Yeah, yours does for me. I've seen it before, and it's a massive A.
Yeah, it is. It's actually bigger than when you try and do it yourself.
Yeah. I know. I was like, oh, instead of setting a waypoint.
Field. Oh, my phone is not happy.
Oh. Do you want to? Hello.
I'm still here, I think. I might still be here.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't have a connection to the game though.
Oh, there's just a tractor driving around randomly.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay, I'll catch you in a minute.
I've just been kicked out of the game, so I'll try and rejoin.
All right, mate. See you in a minute.
I might have to throw my headphones up at that point.
Oh, I did. I just had to tab back to my combine because I was trying to listen to you, and it was just so loud.
Hopefully, I can now start to sell some soybeans. I wasn't even. Can you remember which carriage it is that you tip into? Is it the one with the trailer symbol above it?
Yes.
Cool, thank you. I know I tested it, but it's been so long since I tested it, I've forgotten.
I thought you'd got your markers off for a minute. Yeah, it's the one, if you're looking at them on the right.
Yeah. No, I very rarely switch those off.
Yeah, I try to, and then I'll go to find a trigger, and I'll be like, oh no, just put them back on. It's so much easier.
Yeah, I know it looks better, but I like to have as much information as possible.
Yes, and for our sanity, yeah. I wonder if he's a happy boy or not. Guessing he's going to be, because soybeans bring in a ridiculous amount of money. What was it, 5 grand we just saw a minute ago when I was looking? Maybe I didn't video that bit, but yes, there's about 5 grand per 1,000 litres. So, what I'm going to do is just leave that for a second, jump back to the other tractor. I'm going to go across here, and then we're going to stick it on a worker, I think. Hopefully that is going to work. Come on, find a gear. There we go. Right. Lower it down and try and keep it about 90 degrees. The thing is, if we leave enough of a margin, the workers then shouldn't get confused, hopefully. That's the plan anyway. Right, let's get this ploughed across, set a worker going, and we'll finish getting those oats in the ground. Well, unfortunately, it wouldn't work on a worker, so we are going to have to do it ourselves. So what I've done is got the worker finishing off the oats, hopefully. Now we've done a bit of a headland. Hopefully that'll just crack on and turn around. Come on. Yeah, it's working fine. Yeah, looks good. So once we get down here, we'll have a quick look at, come on tractor, at the silage bales and see how far off they are fermenting, and yeah, see if we can get some sold. Alright, I've just had a quick look. They're about 74%. Also popped down to see if our other stack was still intact, and it is for now. Disturbed has not got his revenge just yet. No doubt he will, and as I said to him earlier, I wouldn't expect anything less. It's all good fun. So I'm going to crack on with the ploughing, and I will speak to you in a little while. Okay, so the worker has finished putting the oats in the ground. It's all good. So what we're going to do now is attach to the fertiliser spreader. We should have enough just to do that little bit, and then we can go, yeah, 1,300 litres, plenty. I can get a worker doing this for us, hopefully. Yeah, spot on, and we can carry on with the laborious task of ploughing up this field. Hello.
I'm having the same problem with the shop being weird and not allowing me to buy stuff.
Yeah, I think it lets you buy or lease, but it's just the fact that you can't actually see what you're buying or what you're leasing.
No, no.
Oh.
It is flat telling me I do not have enough money to buy what I want to buy. And I do.
Oh.
Which is kind of frustrating, but
Didn't,
maybe it's the same bank manager saying, no, you really shouldn't spend that money.
I'm just wondering. I didn't. Oh, I didn't leave you. It's not something to do with the contractor rights, is it? Or did I take that off? Dismiss as farm manager,
I
remove from
have
farm.
no idea. Am I still farm manager of my farm?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Let me lease stuff, so I must be actually.
yeah.
Uh,
How strange.
that is very confusing.
You are actually on your farm as well. I don't.
Yeah.
Hmm. No, I don't know about that one.
Okay. I'll try again in a bit.
What are you after anyway?
Nothing.
Fibber. Are you after a
With,
more
with
powerful tractor?
I am after a more powerful tractor that is
Yeah.
more suited to the size of implements that we're using.
Yes. I was looking as well.
That
Because,
happens to be on sale.
yeah, 'cause this is painful ploughing today.
Yeah, it was really not fun when I did it. God, I hope that's enough seed.
Are you a happy boy anyway with your soybeans?
Just soybeans make a shed load of money.
It's nice, isn't it?
I nearly said something else that they make, but I've done that enough in a few other videos that I don't know whether it made it in or not, so I'm not going to do that here.
Oh, you're very well behaved.
Yeah. Yeah, one video, I think I took it out of it. There was a sequence in one video where I was maybe not YouTube monetization safe.
Ah, okay, yeah. I'm with you.
Something useful I have found is that you can use workers to move tractors along the roads.
You can. I got, yeah, I was shifting augers and trailers early with it. It is
Yeah,
very helpful.
it is, because I basically ended up with all of my tractors down at the sell point, and I really didn't need them all down there.
It's handy though, yeah. Yeah, it saves you having to drive the auger down there at 3 mile an hour.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do that. I towed it behind a tractor. And then I ran with it because I had to go and pick it up anyway. So it was easier to just pick it up and run with it rather than do 3 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, yeah, there is that.
Humans in farm sim run exceptionally fast.
They do. And everybody's, what is it, 2 meters tall?
Yeah, probably something like that.
I think that's what it's sort of set at or scaled off.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have another go in the shop. I will be back. Right, if I can still hold down the talk key, I will try and do it whilst I'm talking to you.
Okay, right.
Let's try again. The last time it told me I didn't have enough money, so...
See, that's just weird as well, isn't it? You wouldn't...
Yeah, yeah, I've got £6 more than I need, and it's telling me I don't have enough money. So I'll try and earn some more money, and then
See what it says then.
yeah. Oh, that's annoying. My lease tractor has just ticked over the hour.
So,
I was hoping that I would get all this carting done before it did that.
oh, yeah, mine's. Oh, in fact, actually, I need to check see if I've turned my engine off.
So it's just cost me £1,000, which is a bit annoying, or nearly £2,000.
I'm on 1.5 hours
I've just gone over 2 on mine. I think I might have left it running at some points as well, which is probably not the smartest thing.
No, it's easily done though.
Yeah. It appears that when I got back to the combine, I'd not only left it running, I'd left the header switched on, and yeah, I was just melting through diesel.
You've got all this money to spare now.
Yeah, it's literally burning a hole in my pocket and really annoying me that it won't let me buy what I want to buy.
Is it still not doing it?
No, it keeps telling me I've not got enough money.
How very odd.
Yeah.
Let me have a try on something. Hold on. Let's see. We could get some seed. Oh. Well, it let me buy a bag of seed.
Well, that's nice.
Not
I
that's going to help me.
Yeah. I may need to do that in a little while, but it doesn't help with the fact that I want more horsepower and more speed.
No, well, it's a pest, isn't it?
Yeah, I might just have to leave it until next time, and hopefully when we restart the game, it'll have sorted itself out.
That's what I'm hoping as well, yes.
But yeah, I actually have no idea how long we've been recording for, because I've done it in so many little chunks.
Yeah, same actually. I think this I could have a look in a minute, but I'll get this tractor moving.
Yeah. I'm not really on a particular time limit today, but
no, I think I'm not either at the minute. So
we'll just it's going to get dark at some point, which is probably a natural point to stop.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea, mate.
It's my video has not been the most exciting today. It's mostly been a little bit of ploughing and then driving backwards and forwards to the sell point.
You had the excitement of your auger going walkies.
Yeah, and that stack of bales is so tempting. So far, I have not had a major lag spike whilst pointing at it.
I know, and I did have a check to see if they were fermented, and they were all still intact. So yeah,
they whatever time
I think
we finished baling and wrapping them.
That's what I was
last
thinking.
Game day. Because they take a month, so you're looking at probably about 7 or 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In game.
Yeah.
And they should be done.
Maybe next episode then, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, unless we get really, really desperate to keep going.
I don't know about that, because I might have had enough of this ploughing in a minute.
Yeah. That's the bit that I really wanted the new tractor for, because although it's got enough horsepower, whether it's just, a physics thing and it's actually just not big enough, and Farm Sim's that clever, I don't think it is, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's only got enough horsepower by 9, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So... yeah. Let's go in. Steady 5 mile an hour.
Yeah, I was getting stuck at 3 occasionally, and I'd have to force it to try and change gear.
Yes, that's what I've been doing. It goes on a real go slow, doesn't it, occasionally?
Yeah. Is the plan to make that into one big field?
I've left a little border for now, but it's just trying to time everything so that I'm not got an empty field, if that makes sense, because obviously I've even just put a crop of oats in the one just to have something in the ground, so it's not a complete waste of time. But
as long as you sell the straw, as long as you sell the straw, oats is going to be a good deal, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's double bubble, isn't it? Again, see, it's stuck at 3 mile an hour. 1 mile.
Did your canola harvest do well for you then?
It was very good. Yeah, got about 40k off it, I think.
Nice.
For that small, little patch.
Yeah.
So
That's not a big plot of land for that, is it?
no, exactly. And I was like, wowzers. Yeah, it's yeah, I was very impressed with it.
And I'm finally getting my barley sold from that harvest because I just chucked it in the silage because I didn't have any way of easily selling it because I didn't have an auger.
Oh yeah, of
That, that
course.
that's paying pretty well as well.
Yeah, I think what's barley about 1200 quid? Is it?
No, 1,700 at the
Oh
train
wow,
station.
brill.
And, and you're looking at nearly 3 grand. Wow, nearly 3 grand for oats.
Yeah, that's why I was looking. I was like, oh, what's good?
Yeah,
And a bit different that we haven't done yet. So
yeah. That's going to pay really well with the straw as well.
yeah, shame I got rid of the baler.
That was silly.
It was really, wasn't it? I've kept hold of the wrapper though, just in case. I haven't spotted any bales
No, it looks like
that were
we've got them
missed.
all.
You did a good
I,
job
I'm,
there.
yeah, I think you should leave this bottom plot of the land as kind of a wild area for nature.
Put it back for wilding? I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, your plan of making my trip to the sell point longer is actually going to pay off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Should have ploughed up that end of the field.
You forgot, did you?
Yeah, honest.
You forgot. Oh, there's
Yeah.
a nice. I know our cedars are 6 meter, isn't it? So there's a nice
Uh,
cedar on in the sales, but
yeah, I did
ours is
see
probably
that.
just as good.
I did see that, but then I realised we've got, like you say, one that's just as nice.
Yes, the European branded one.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
I can't even remember how Mr. CDP says it, and I'm sure he's saying it properly because he takes account of the accent over the O.
Yeah, it's like, I can't even think, yeah, how he does it.
No, he's obviously much more mature than we are. He is older than us, though, so he is even
Yes.
older than me.
Blimey. Older than God's dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, I'm off to the store to pick up my new tractor.
Gonna have to. Oh, good choice, sir. Good choice.
Hopefully, I haven't been able to see it, so it's sold as sold as seed.
So they let you buy that.
It let me buy it, yeah.
That's weird. I'm gonna try again. Once I've sold this trailer load of barley, I've got significantly more than I need to buy the tractor because it
Wicked,
was just
okay.
something I didn't have enough money. I did,
Yeah.
but I only had a few grand over, so maybe it had got confused.
Okay. Yeah, weird. Unless it is something that we've done with the farm manager, not farm manager, contractor bit, but
It shouldn't affect it unless it thinks I'm buying it for you.
how much was it?
128 grand.
Oh, because I hadn't got that much, you see.
Hmm.
Just
That is interesting.
look.
So, but I don't have contractor rights now.
No.
Is that
Remove
correct?
from farm. Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm just seeing your money rocket up. So, remove from farm. I don't want to do that while you're doing anything. I think we'll have to have a look after the recording, just so we don't mess anything up for one another.
They're still telling me I don't have enough money, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird. And
Just
it's it, the stuff that I'm selling, as you have seen, is going to me.
yeah.
So it's not that.
Is it clever enough that? Well, I'll tell you what. Try and get into one of my tractors or something.
I can't because I've been tabbing around the tractors, and it's not taking me to your tractors when I tab.
That is odd.
Because I definitely have enough cash to buy it now.
Okay.
Do you need bags of seed or fertilizer or anything?
Am I what? Sorry.
Do you need any seed or fertilizer or anything like that?
I don't think it's at the minute. I've bought a bag of seed. It's at the yard.
I was just
Oh,
wondering what's the cheapest thing I could try and buy. But I don't want to waste your money if it's something you don't need.
oh, go and have a look at the windrowers. I think they were only like pence. Maybe not quite pence, but
No, it's taking the money from me. I think I've just brought a bag of road salt, which is completely useless. But it's taken the money out of my account. So that's kind of weird.
That is strange. I don't get that.
Yeah. I don't want to buy. The other option is I buy the cheaper case and see if it lets me do that, but
Well, we can have a
I don't really want to. I have to have a play after we finish.
yeah, or a gentleman's agreement that if it doesn't work, we can put the money back in. I'm all right with that if you
Yeah.
are.
I've got plenty to be getting on with. I've got one more load of barley to sell, I think, and then I need to get on with some ploughing, so I might just endure it with the slow tractor.
Yeah, it's lovely though in this. What have I bought? An
The
Alice Chalmers, yeah.
It's not that much more powerful, is it?
It's only. Let's have a look. Medium tractors. It's 189.
Can't remember what ours are.
179.
Okay, so it's an extra 10 horsepower.
Yeah. But it's yeah, steady 6 mile an hour. So
Nice.
all good, and it doesn't struggle, which is pleasant. So yeah, glad I took the plunge on that.
Sounds like a wise investment. What sort of top speed has it got?
21.
That's basically the same, just with a bit more grunt.
Yeah, it just seems to get through the gears a bit better, and it's got more gears, if that makes sense as well.
Yeah. It's the last trip to the sell point.
Can't see you yet.
Even getting rolling with a loaded trailer sucks with these tractors.
Even what? Sorry.
Getting moving with a fully loaded trailer.
Oh yeah.
It takes a while to build up a bit of momentum.
It does, and I don't know if it's because when we first did the ploughing, the tractors were in mint condition, weren't they?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they need to be kept on top of just to.
Yeah, it might be that they're just man enough for the job, and so if they've got a little bit of wear.
Yeah.
You're cracking through that ploughing.
It's so much easier. It really is.
Maybe I'll return this one that's leased and lease one of those.
Yeah, because I bet that's even cheaper, isn't it? Because
that might be a good temporary solution.
Yeah, I'd go for it. You got yourself out of debt.
Yeah. Quite a long way out of debt.
Done.
So, yes. Yeah, that big field of soybeans kind of turned things around a lot.
Yeah, it's a nice injection of cash, isn't it?
Yeah. It's when I was chatting away to myself earlier, it's such a different pace of game to what I ever normally play.
Yeah.
I don't think I've, certainly in FS22, ever sold a single harvest for, God, that must have been 150,000, no, more than that. Must have been 180,000 that I got just off selling the soybeans.
I don't know.
And that's the combination of playing on easy, which I've don't think any of my games have been on easy mode on finance, and then having this insane sell point that the Alien Gym put in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good though, isn't it? It's enjoyable.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
just stress-free playing
Um,
farm sim.
I, and the only stressful element is keeping the pace going so that you don't fall behind.
Yeah,
As like you said, you put a crop of oats in just so you had something growing in the field because the crops grow so quickly that you don't want to finish a day with an empty field.
correct. Yeah,
Because that's half a growth
yeah,
cycle.
yeah.
And
You've got to be on it.
I'm not going to get my new field done today. I don't think I'm going to get anything planted in that, but it would be nice to get most of it ploughed in.
Yes. I haven't actually looked at the map. Oh, you get in there, or the workers get in. Oh, you got a worker ploughing.
No, I've got a worker planting.
Okay. Yeah.
They're replanting that field that I just harvested.
Very nice. Very good.
Like we said, can't leave a field empty. I wish we could get a worker ploughing. I was very tempted to ask if we could have courseplay.
No.
Because that would let me have a worker plough that field in for me completely.
Oh yeah. I was thinking to myself that it'd be so handy having horseplay to do the ploughing.
Yeah,
Got to have some level of difficulty to it, I suppose.
yeah, definitely. Seems ask because I did it in 2 pages. Yeah, yeah. It seems like almost all crops make silly amounts of money on this. I can't remember what I made selling the straw, but the payout from selling the barley has been really good.
Yeah, I think it kind of balances almost, doesn't it? Because the prices are so good at the train station. If you do a crop that gets the straw, generally they're lower pounds per 1,000 litres, aren't they? But you get the straw as the sort of
Yeah,
to make it up. So
yeah, and I know I've got the chickens on there. I actually think they're going to go so slowly that we'll probably have cleared the first target before they actually do much useful. And I don't think animals would be quick enough to pay off.
yeah, I see. I'm thinking that just for playing normal FS, but they do take a while to sort of generate an income to break even, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. And well, like, with the fenceless sheds, they're quite cheap, and the cost of setting up the chickens was not much at all.
No. Yeah.
But they are really not going to produce that many eggs that quickly.
No, you're not. You're not going to be drowning in eggs
No, no,
overnight,
and I've
are you?
got 300 chickens in there, and they've not even produced a pallet between them yet. So
Did you buy? I can't remember if you bought the fully mature ones. You did, I think, didn't you?
I bought 120 fully grown ones and then 30 not grown ones in each one. I don't know why I didn't just buy 150 of fully grown in each. I was having some sort of brain fart.
Oh dear.
It was not my finest moment.
Good though.
Yeah. It's something else. I was going to say it's something else to do, but actually they don't really need that much work.
No, just a bit of feed every now and again, isn't it? Yeah.
I think the feed's going to last them a few months.
Excellent.
Which is why I've just sold a whole chunk of the barley, because I don't really need to keep it. I can just plant when I get to the point I need more barley. I can just plant another crop, and that'll do the job just fine.
Yeah, because everything grows so quick. You don't need to worry about it too much, do you?
No. Yeah, my random bag of salt is now sat at the store, and it has let me lease a tractor. And I'm assuming it's not billed you for it.
I'm aware of.
But
No, can't. I don't understand that at all.
No. Oh well, I'll just stick with that. Actually, leasing the Alice Chalmers was not a bad deal. It was 2,700 even with GPS on it.
Oh, wowzers, that's pretty good.
So I think that's cheaper than we had the other one we both had leased. Have you still got one leased, or have you got rid of it?
No, I returned it.
Yeah. And I might need to return this when I have to do the sugar beet harvest next time. It depends how many beet harvesters I get working.
Oh, of course, yes.
I might actually buy one at this point.
Yeah, it would. I guess it would make sense, wouldn't it? How are you planning on doing it? Are you selling straight off the field, or putting it in the silo? Or okay.
I might chuck it in the silo and then lease something bigger to sell it.
Not bad shout. Yeah.
I still want to buy a bigger tractor, and at the same point, I might get a bigger trailer.
Yeah, handy.
Because I think sugar beet is such a high yielding crop, doing it 14,000 litres at a time, a tractor wouldn't keep up with the harvesters.
No, I think you're probably right there. I guess the only way you could do it, yeah, I don't think you're even using one of the in-game workers to deliver. Oh, you can't even do that, can you? Because you need the auger. Yeah, I think your plan's a good one. Silo and then have a selling sesh with a bigger trailer.
Yeah, and those silos hold 500,000 litres, so it's not going to be a problem to store whatever comes off the field.
No, true. In fact, that you just have to put it in a pile on the ground.
Yeah, I'm hoping to not have to do that.
And scoop it back up again.
I need to set GPS up, and I can't do some things like that and talk at the same time. Let's see how much better this tractor is of yours then.
I've got one finger on push to talk, one trying to fling the steering wheel around, and then another one, well, yeah, and then the same hand is jumping to the keyboard to set GPS and lower the plough.
Yeah, this is the point where it's much easier to just use... You need to turn create fields on, don't you?
Yeah.
This is the point where it's much easier to just be using keyboard, because I can do everything pretty much unless I have to touch the mouse, and the only time I really need to do that is moving the camera around, and I use the arrow keys for that a lot because it's slightly smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish Discord had a latch to talk option, so you could press it and it would stay on until we finished talking.
Yeah. Because we can't even use... Yeah, you can't even use like the voice activation within the game, can you? Because once we start talking to ourselves,
yeah,
it'll pick it up. Where's that worker stopped?
Yeah. Yeah, first world problems and all that.
Tell me about it.
It's not bad, this little tractor. It's definitely smoother to get up to speed, isn't it?
I think it's, like I say, I think it's the gearing. I think because it's got more, it's not struggling at each interval, if that makes any sense
and
at all.
it's not got ranges, has it? It's just got lots of gears.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the problem, is that the game struggles when it has to shift ranges to get you in the right gear.
Yeah.
To run at speed.
Yeah, it's straight up to 6 miles an hour, no faffing. Go. Did you just have it with the single wides, or did you have the duals?
No, I went for single wides for this. I should have put some weight on the front by the looks of it, but
it's not too bad. I find, but seeing as I couldn't actually see what I was buying, it's a bit difficult.
All sorts of fun with the shop, haven't we?
Yeah.
It would be worth, because I don't know if yours is different, I suppose having a look in the log when we're finished to see if there's any errors cropping up.
Yeah. Good idea.
I didn't think to have to open the log up when it was telling me I didn't have enough money. But
Yeah. Yeah, we can have a look. What else did we say we were going to look at afterwards?
I think that was it.
That was it.
Just
wasn't
like inability to buy certain things.
Yes.
And your inability to see anything.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a nice old classic tractor, I guess.
It is. Very basic on the inside.
And on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the inside is very, very basic, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like... Well, yeah.
It kind of like it's half finished.
Yeah. The seat's got a nice texture to it. Bit of velour.
That's very good, isn't it? It's got a nice comfortable seat.
Yeah. Plenty of visibility.
Yeah, I mostly play in third person anyway. So
yeah,
I sometimes don't worry if the inside of the tractor is not brilliant.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. What was I doing today? I did a bit of combining in cab today and
Nice.
some baling as well.
Nice.
The stuff where you can't really mess it up.
Yeah.
Especially with GPS
Except
set for the combining.
When you forget to put the pickup down on the baler and you drive a couple of rows and then think, why aren't I clearing the field?
Oh, you mean like I did the other day with Follow Me?
Yep, I'd forgotten that. Yeah.
The thing is as well, when I was editing it, and obviously watched the clips, putting them in the order and whatever else, I was like, I was even looking at the baler not picking up when I was talking and said, right, I'll be back in a minute. And do you know, it's like, oh my word.
Yeah. We've all been there with Follow Me.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant mod, but that's what it does. It sets it to follow. So if you forget to switch things on,
yeah,
that's on you pretty much. And it lets you do really cool things. I've not pushed it too far yet in FS22, but in FS19 I was using it to run multiple combines quite a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because what I was doing is driving one combine and then you run the other with an offset of just under the header width.
Yeah.
And it works really well. I've done the same thing with seeding. The problem with seeding is you have to remember that the one that's following won't pick the seeder up. So you end up with a slightly messier result, but it gets the job done and it's more fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it'd be interesting, because I was... Yeah, I can say, because the video will come out before this. I was using it to chop corn. So I'd leased a big John Deere forage harvester.
Yeah.
And for some of it, like headlands and stuff, I was using the Follow Me. And it kept... I was trying to bring the distance closer to the harvester, and it kept smacking into the back if I stopped. So I'm wondering, it'd be good to know where it referenced. Does it reference off the driver of the vehicle, or at some point on the vehicle? Do you know?
Yeah, I suspect it's referenced off whatever the game uses for the AI worker.
Yeah.
Which might be the center of the vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
Or it might be the header.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
I'm going to say it's probably the center of the vehicle because the header is a separate object. So I think it's the center of the vehicle. The problem is that the Follow Me driver doesn't react quite as quickly as you do.
Yeah.
So if you have them running really close behind you and then you stop, they will hit the back of you.
Yes. Yeah.
And I found when I was doing it on Calmsden, quite often if I had it set really close, they would be pushing the harvester along.
Yeah. I was cursing yesterday. I was like, will you stop driving into the harvester?
Yeah.
But it's good though. It's fantastic. And I like the I like the harvesting one. That's a good shout for if you've got
Yeah,
big fields
I've done
rather
it
than
when I was
horseplay.
when I was playing on Oakfield, Oxy's map. I was running 2 combines and 2 seeders every time with Follow Me like that, because I had some of the really big fields on that map.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing a bit of a mixture, because I did some with horseplay, because I ended up running 4 combines at one point. I really, really cooked my laptop. I had 4 combines running on horseplay and then 4 carters running on auto drive. And the lag was horrendous when auto drive was trying to calculate things.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's slightly less processor intensive on Follow Me.
Oh, it's much less, but there's much less automation. It was one of the few times I was playing where I had big enough fields and I had enough cash that I could have 4 reasonable sized combines, and I had enough kit to run lots of carters, and it was like, I just want to see if it works.
Yeah. Experiment.
Yeah, I'd done it really early on playing FS19, but that was on my old laptop and it did not cope. And they were stupidly huge fields, and I think I was running 6 combines, and I would tell Courseplay to generate a course, and I could basically go away and make a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And come back and it would have made it. And then you would set go to first waypoint and you could walk away and come back.
Just wait for it to get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a problem because I wasn't, I was just playing for myself back then, and I just wanted to. I was just running a stupidly big farm, and wanted to try different ways of doing it, and it worked. And I'm curious now, with a better laptop and with FS22's hopefully optimizations, how well it would cope with running stuff that big.
Yeah, it would be good actually. Yeah. I can't remember. I think I've seen 2 going. I've done 2 going, and that was. It had to, like you say, it thought about it for a while, and you think, oh, this isn't good. But it's also.
Yeah, and 2's the most that I've run. I've run. Doing grass work, I've run 4 vehicles doing grass work, and that coped okay. They were all following the same course. So I think I had mower, must have been mower, windrower, tedder, baler, all running at once, and that worked okay.
Yeah, I had it. I did. I think it was a grass contract on Palmerston, and I'd got mower running because I was off doing cultivating, I think. So I just set it running on mowing, baling, collecting, and it seemed to be fine. Yeah,
I mean, my next Calmston video, which I still need to finish editing, I mowed field 7 for you and baled it.
Mine was in field 7 as well.
That's because that's one of the 2 grass fields on the map.
Well, there's loads, but you don't actually get to work in them.
Yeah, okay, it's one of the 2 that has contracts on, because the rest are tiny and weird.
No, the big uns.
Actually, you've got 8 and 10, haven't you? 10's a grass field, yeah.
There's 20, the ones that are in their 20s at the top left of the map.
True, that's very true. Yeah, it's just that there's only 2 that have grass contracts on.
Yeah, they never seem to appear, but yeah, it's a bit weird. But have you had any contracts appear yet where the equipment is not the right kind of equipment for the contract?
No, I haven't.
Because I had what's the big class called? Is it the Zerion? No. Yes.
TerraTrack?
No.
Was it the tracked one or the...
No, it was the wheeled one. The articulated wheeled one.
The Zerion.
Yeah. See, I had that with a front and a rear mower, but there was no front PTO. There's no front linkage at all. I was like, really?
That's giants.
Yeah.
And I think what it is they have pushed some kit in because it's from some of their big manufacturers, and it's not appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
There was a really good mod that came out in FS19 where someone had gone through and updated all of the contract kit to work with all the DLCs and things, because quite often Giants don't do that. But what that let you do is it gave you the file that you needed to edit all the contract equipment. So I went through, unsurprisingly, and changed it all to match up the kind of kit that I liked.
Okay.
And for things like if you've got a massive sugar beet harvesting contract, I set it so it gave you 2 sugar beet harvesters.
See, that would be handy.
So it was much more tolerable to do some of those massive contracts where, you know, I get that was on Oakfield as well. It was like, you know, you want me to harvest this monstrous field of sugar beet with 1 sugar beet harvester. You know, I think I got like 1 million litres of sugar beet off it. It was stupid.
It's like me on Calmsden. If I hadn't have taken out 2 potato contracts, I think the little one, the smaller one of the 2, was on field 23, I think it was, and then the other one was on field 1, and it's like you'd be going for weeks, do you know, and without auto drive as well. But
Yeah, and course play and
yeah, that's when I first discovered the use of auto drive is invaluable at times.
yeah. If you can get it to work well for doing the karting for you, it's, you know, a brilliant tool. Particularly if you can get it to cart to a sell point or to a silo or something to then sell it afterwards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's nice. It's something that you can develop as well, isn't it? Like I did a really basic one, and I was like, this is actually very, very handy. And then developed it. And then even yesterday, I was like, I need to sell milk, but I need to do other things. So I tweaked the course to start, you know, tipping or selling the milk as I wanted it and collecting. So,
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to do an entire auto drive network before they start playing. But I just tend to add stuff as I need it. I've been using
same.
it a lot on Greenlands lately because I've been doing a lot of digestate spreading. And I just extend it as I need it to add in so that it can get to the fields that it couldn't get to already.
Yeah, I liked that when in the one that you did when that would be the most recent one where you were getting horseplay and auto drive to work together. I was like, oh, I never think of that.
Yeah, but that's in the next one as well.
Yeah, no, it's very clever.
I had to finish off. I had a lot more digestate spreading to do than I thought. Annoyingly, more than I had digestate for.
Oh.
Which is quite frustrating because I've been selling a lot of it through the fertilizer dryer.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I did a bit more of that, and particularly if you've got the kit and if you've got a lot of land, being able to have course play and auto drive doing one field while you do another is quite helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The other cool thing you can do with that is if the field is big enough that you want to use 2 spreaders in the field, but you want to drive one, if you set up a 2 implement course still, you can drive the other half of the course.
Oh yeah, of course.
I've done that on. I've done that on Calmsden a couple of times on big seeding contracts. I've leased an extra seeder, and then you set a 2 implement course, and once you let course play get ahead a bit, and then you just fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I've done that with. I'm doing it on. I did a potato planting contract. I just set one off running, and then I filled in the gaps. The only thing that annoys me about, well, I don't know if it's an FS22 thing, you may know, is the I think they're called, is it terrain angles?
Yeah.
So if you're planting at 97 degrees, the graphic will show it at 90 degrees.
90, yeah.
And when you're trying to do a video, it looks horrendous.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's an FS22 thing or a map specific thing.
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
So mappers can increase it, but I don't think any have yet.
Oh, okay.
So in a lot of FS19 maps, once someone had worked out how to increase them, pretty much everyone, particularly on PC, would increase them.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone has worked out how to do that yet. And Giants, it almost felt like they cut down the number of angles when they did 22. Particularly for crops like potatoes and sugar beet and stuff, where you've got a row. It's much more obvious that they have not been as generous as I was used to in FS19. Some of that might have been because I played a lot of farming agency maps, and they did increase the terrain angles to at least 64, I think, or 32.
Okay.
Whereas I think Giants might be 8.
Yeah, it's not a lot at all.
No. And you've only got to look at the ploughing that I'm driving past in my field. It's like the lines are running at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But the path that I've ploughed is not running at 90 degrees. It's probably 15 degrees off that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just ruins the immersion us slightly. I mean, I did it with the field of corn that I planted, and think, okay, yeah, looks good when you plant it, and try and get the seeder or the planter to follow the rows a bit, and then when it grows, you might as well have it looks like you've scattered it by hand.
Yeah. And some of that, I think, is creating a game that can run on PS4 and the equivalent Xbox.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that could be much higher quality if it didn't have to be on console.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, no, definitely.
I really hope / assume that when we get FS24 or 5, I'm hoping 25. I'm hoping the game's around for long enough that we get 25, not 24.
Yeah.
That they will have ditched the sort of second tier consoles.
Yeah.
Whether that at that point, if at that point that's PS5, sorry, PS5, Xbox X owners, but catering for those old generations of hardware causes issues for all of the other platforms.
It does, and they're never going to develop 2 separate games, are they? So
no.
At some point, and I'm guessing it's when actually the manufacturers of those consoles stop supporting them. Do you know, like? And I think that's probably the point where they'll go, okay, woohoo, we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I guess whilst people are releasing games for them, if you make games, you're kind of silly to stop.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think that is sorghum going into part of my new field.
You think?
I think I've never grown it before.
That's a nice crop. I like sorghum.
I'm going with the theory of what we said, that pretty much everything is paying well. So
yeah.
And it's another crop that doesn't do straw, I think, isn't it?
It is.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Let's check. Yeah, nearly 2.5 grand per 1,000 litres. I'll take that.
Good enough, isn't it?
Yeah. Something different to do, like you said. I had planned to plant something different, but if I was going to do that, I wouldn't have started planting it today, so...
Oh.
I'll do that for next crop.
Very good.
I might end up leaving the sugar beet field empty and turn this into one big field and do one big crop in here. I've got my soybeans in anyway.
You put them in again?
Yeah.
You toad.
I did a bit of audience participation, and not on the YouTube video, on Patreon, and the response was, soybeans, we have to crush him.
Right, well, if that's the tact that we're taking, I'm enjoying it so far. It is.
They were
It's good fun,
there's
isn't it?
only a couple of people on there, but the response was what's the best thing to do to win?
Well, I know who one of them is, and I can well imagine him saying that. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's
with the same person that suggested poplar, along with you.
yes, yeah. So I'm about to start planting that on Greenlands. It's probably my next video on Greenlands.
Okay, it's
It's a worryingly big field as well.
yeah, it's it's a nice looking crop though. It's mine's growing well.
Yeah, it, it's another one of those crops that actually, with the giant's textures, looks really disappointing once it's ready to harvest. It's really nice when it's growing. It's these nice little green trees, and when it gets to ready to harvest, it turns into these kind of grey twigs.
Yeah. Oh, good. Something else that's died. Better cut it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Um, and the cool thing is, it grows back. So, in theory, you could, you might not choose to, but in theory, you could let it regrow as well.
Yes, there is that. Yeah. Yeah, I forget that.
Um,
Yeah, I think
I
once
guess
is
it
probably going
depends
to be enough.
how painful your harvesting experience is.
Well, I think it's going to be foraged. It's got to be. I think that'll be
Yeah,
a.
yeah. I mean, well, you get the same result. It's just you can use the cheaty 6 meter header that people have released
Oh yes.
rather than, I think the actual one is maybe 2 rows of crop.
Yeah, depending on how you position it. Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
actually in real life it probably would only be one row, wouldn't it? But
yeah, I
I
think
think.
so. And the
Yeah.
baler's the same. The bio
Yeah.
baler's the same. I think that takes 1 row at a time, which I've never used because that would be too painful.
Yeah. No, definitely. I.
And you get slightly more if you do it with the forage harvester. It gets a better multiplier for yield.
Oh yeah, of course it would do, wouldn't it? Because would
Um,
it work with the additive?
no, I don't think it does anyway. But you get a forage harvesting crops for some of them gives you a random bonus.
Oh.
Like with corn, you get nearly 8 times the amount of corn when you forage it to when you harvest it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and that makes sense because you're harvesting the whole crop rather than just the corn ears. But
Oh
with
yeah.
poplar, you also get, I think you get times 4,
Oh
which sort of makes no sense because you're chopping the same amount of tree down.
yeah.
But and I've not tested to see whether you don't get that with the baler. Um, but when I was doing stuff, when I was looking at like yields and stuff before, you get a bonus with the forage harvester for poplar. So
Wicked. I'm happy with that then.
I am pretty pleased. Got that harvested, replanted, and fertilised, and got third crop going in. Going to get really busy having 3 fields.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's almost that. It needs to be. It is gonna one maybe one big field would be easier
Yeah, you might be right. I
because
think
at
two
least then.
fields is certainly, because the problem is I don't know whether you're going to be in you're planting all the same crop, are you? I'm going to
Yes.
have at one point I'm going to have soybeans to harvest and then sorghum to harvest
Oh.
on the same day. I'm not going to have that much sorghum because whenever we stop, I'll stop planting it
Yeah.
because I'm not so worried if I don't get it all planted because I didn't expect to get any of it planted today. So
It's the bonus.
yeah, I think that's probably because we've been going for about 2.5 hours. So
Yeah. I just looked at the time.
yeah, uh,
We should.
that's the downside of not having a hard cut-off time to finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's a very good point. To be fair, it's going to be a long one again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Apart from the fact that both of us forgot to switch the recordings on at different points as my internet crashed.
Yeah. Yeah. There might be. I can time lapse bits and bobs. It's probably most of me just chuckling at the fact that I've hid your order
Yeah,
wagon for a little bit.
Yeah. I actually thought for a second that maybe somehow it glitched and got returned. But I had a senior moment being so much older than you. So I was driving over and I could see it, and I didn't
Yeah.
realise that it wasn't in the right place when I was seeing it because it was in the distance. And then I drove past where it should have been, and it's like the auger wagon's not there. The auger's not there. And yeah,
But where
and
can I
then I
put it? They
spotted it.
can actually get it. And I was like, oh, I'll put it down. And then it dropped a bit into the rocks. I was like, uh-oh,
Yeah,
uh-oh. I'm going to bury my auger wagon at this rate. Oh, just my luck for
it
messing around.
it was only leased. It was fine. I did end up leasing the one that you have as well, which worked really well. It wasn't as expensive as I thought. So
That's good then.
I think I'm probably next time I have a lot of crop to sell, that will probably be what I end up buying.
Yeah, they are really good.
Which will be next time because I'm gonna have a shed load of sugar beet to dig.
Yes,
But
you will, won't you? Of course.
yeah, if we're going to do that as like we did with your silage, if we're going to do that as a bonus video, I suggest we do it as an early morning bonus rather than a late night like we did with yours. So we have
Yeah,
daylight.
because at this rate, we're starting to lose the light already, aren't we? So,
Yeah, yeah. So I think we do it. We do a sleep until 5 a.m. or whatever, and it should be light because we've got August weather. And
yes.
we crack on as soon as it's daylight on half time. I think is
Yeah, that
sensible.
sounds like it might be a plan.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're planning to get the last of your field planted before we call it a day.
Um, if that's all right with you,
Yeah, yeah, I'm further through the plan than I expected, and I've just got the worker who's just put his lights on running the planter. So
oh, I've just put mine on as well.
I'll get as much planted as he gets done before we finish, and
Yep.
I will be very happy because it's way more than I expected.
Yeah, no, it's been a very productive day, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Cool.
I will chat to you in a bit because we've been talking for way too long.
Mm. We have again. All right, mate, I'll speak to you in a sec.
So yeah,
Yeah. Right, we're going to get this field finished planting, and then we're going to call it a day. We might just get to sell some of the silage. I think it's not far off at all. But oh, just a bit. I'll get that at the end. Yeah, but it's not going anywhere. It's not going to wither. So we can just get this done and catch back in a little while. Right, it's fermented. So we're getting now, that's better, 4,800 and something pound a time. Come on. Let's get as much in as we can before the end of the day. So we're back up well over what we were. So it's definitely been worth waiting. Come on. There we go. It's like you're throwing it through a vortex.
looks very strange.
It's working rather well.
It almost looks like it's a bit of Harry Potter going on because you're standing still and your bales
Yeah.
are vanishing.
I've got one over here now, but I can't get to it. Oh,
You're getting a
no.
good price for them.
Yeah, it's about nearly 5k per
Per
bale.
bale.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've got a lot of bales, haven't you?
Yep. Got another. I think I've got another 24 loaded up. So it's 4-7 ish a bale.
Nice.
But I'll get these ones done, and then we'll call it a day, I think, mate.
Yeah, the money's jumping up nicely, isn't it?
It is. Which it's paid for the new tractor anyway.
Just about.
Only just.
If you're in the market for something bigger, there's a versatile for sale with
Never.
500 horsepower.
Is there really?
Yeah. I'm not sure it's ideal for our farms, but I was tempted. Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
165,000.
Oh. Any decent sized trailers in there? Well, there's an 18,500 litre trailer for 10 grand if you want one.
Ooh, that should be there next time. I might pick that up next time.
Should be, yes, indeed. Right, where are you? I can't see
Actually,
you.
I'm in the shop at the moment. I am actually going to buy that trailer if it will let me.
Don't blame you.
No,
Don't
it tells me I
blame you
don't have
even.
enough money.
Never.
Yep.
Oh no. Well, I'll tell you what then.
So,
Let me knock. I've knocked the time down now. So,
okay,
and then
but
we can sort it and come back in.
yeah, let's call it a day, and we'll have another attack at that at some point.
Yep.
It's been a
Sounds like
busy
a plan.
day
It has
across both
indeed.
farms.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, very productive.
we've both made quite a lot of money.
It has. Oh, you came
So,
right up close then. You're just trying to steam the limelight, aren't you?
I'm still in the dark.
You'll see on my
It's going to be
video
an
what I mean. I'm about looking up your nose.
yeah. Okay. Is that
Cool.
better?
Oh, look at
Uh,
the sun shines on the righteous. Oh, that is horrendous. Oh dear. Well,
yeah, it's going to be an interesting next couple of videos with you selling all your silage and me selling sugar beet.
it will indeed. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I'll see you next week.
You will. I will speak to you
Or
later, mate.
yeah. See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Well, let's get into some light this time, so we're not ending in the dark. Very very good day. New tractor, load of ploughing done, load of seeding. We've got plenty of silage to sell next time. So, from me, on the Western Wilds with Disturbed, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.